Daniel, let's talk about the farmers' protest that's happening in India. And last time this happened in India, there was a big support from Canada. It was big support from NDP. It was Jagmeet Singh, even Trudeau. There was big support. Why there is no support this time?
Yeah, it's one of the more interesting things that the farmers' protest has sort of fizzled internationally. And I think there's a few reasons. And I think the biggest one is there's actually real farmers' protests going on in Europe right now and across North America. And when you see North American farmers' protests, it's usually related to things like agriculture. So often farmers protest the insane climate policies and such that make being a farmer way too expensive. Like in Canada, in France, the yellow vest protests were over fuel prices. These are things farmers protest: is fuel prices, water, irrigation, and all that. And those are often affected by the far left climate policies. Now you have an Indian farmer protest, which is not about farms or agriculture or water or tomatoes or anything that grows from the ground. It's about Khalistan. And it's a wedge issue. And these farmers aren't asking for like lower prices on fuel. They're asking for like it's sort of like a Dr. Evil type thing. I want a million, trillion, bajillion dollars. And if not, we're gonna, just honk our horns and we're gonna drive on the Capitol. And the entire point of these farmers' protests is usually to gin up international kerfuffle to put political pressure on the Modi government. But it's not working because most of the people that their target audiences in the West are leftists who are now so invested in not backing farmers' protests because Jagmeet Singh wants to yell about the farmers' protests right now. Jagmeet Singh wants to, like, even more than he hates Loblaws, he hates India. And he wants to do this, but he can't, because if he goes to his base, they're going to be reflexively against it because it's farmers. And then if he does endorse it, everyone who sees him slamming farmers in Canada and America, in Europe, will immediately call him a hypocrite. So it is very interesting that, Jagmeet Singh wants to do it. Justin Trudeau will do it. He has no, like, again, Khalistan is one of the things he loves. He loves racism, trans, LGBTQ, Khalistan, like all the things. This is just another thing Justin Trudeau likes to do. And the fact that he can't do it also must be quite sad for him. But it's shown that the sort of farmer mystique, the farmer mask to Khalistan probably needs to move on. Because, listen, I don't think they really need the farmers. They never really cared about the farms. I remember the original round of farmers protests in Canada. It was just all Khalistani flags talking about Khalistan, and you're getting frustrated. Like, can someone just hold an ear of corn, please, so we can pretend this about farms or anything? Can someone do that? And they couldn't. So good news. It seems like we're done with the farmer brand Khalistani protests. I'm excited to see what they come up with next.
And do you think by not supporting this, they are kind of it's affecting the protest?
Yeah, because this entire thing is run off of like world pressure and attention. The reason why a lot of people back like a farmers' protest in Europe, for example, is because there's a lot of European citizens who feel like they're tied in with the policies the farmers are going for. So when the farmers say, hey, we want to lower these taxes on energy and fuel because they make our lives more expensive, and that means the food we sell to you is more expensive. Everyone eats food and needs to pay money for food. This is something that affects everyone. But when you make your protest about, hey, we want a gajillion dollars in subsidies and a Khalistan, well, the citizens of India who are like anywhere outside the Punjab region who like aren't Khalistani Sikh radicals, like, or like even like again, but even like a Sikh in New Delhi, like what do I get from this? Like we just what I get to pay double taxes so the farmers can get more money and then separate and we still fund them. Like where there's no like base support of like, oh, here's what we want on paper. It doesn't appeal to anyone in India who is not, a Khalistani.
I'm going to add to that. The demands of the farmers' protest in India right now is directly contradicting the WTO policies. So if India needs to be in the World Trade Organization as Canada would want, it is anti-WTO policy. So there's a big contradiction in what they're, because they want to be guaranteed 50% of profit on the crop that they grow. Like in India, you don't even need those wheat and rice anymore. And the biggest impact is nobody's talking about that part is in 20 years, the farmland of Punjab region will be done. Like, which I mean by done is it's basically become a cancer belt because they have been growing food with fertilizers. And the eastern region of India, which is Bengal or Bihar, which are, climate-wise best to grow wheat and rice, are not giving that share. So there's a big contradiction to that, and there's no long-term approach to that part. So there's a big politics in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is to me, it's always been a constructed Khalistani narrative, and then they've latched on for something to put there, so they stamped farming on it. This policy is not you can tell farmers are not behind it. These farmers usually, again, deal with things that are like agriculturally based, like it's either water, energy, fuel, tractors, food, wheat. Like these are the issues that farmers care about, not Khalistan.